Hey, YouTube land. I think it's just me right now, but that's okay. We'll give it just a few minutes here. I have to still load up everything. Probably should have worn my glasses now because I'm squinting. David's here. Hey, how are you, sir? I hope that you're keeping cool in Arizona. I know it was one of those extra hot states right now. And where is my comic? Hold on a second. I'll explain how I did that. I'm okay. Here we go. Okay, I'm good. I have the comic loaded up. I was just thinking that on the way down the stairs, hey, I didn't make sure that my code downloaded correct. Hi, Neil. How are you? How are you? We're going to give everybody just a couple minutes here. I figured, I know that we talked about, or I discussed, I should say, doing the a live read, my first impression of the Hellfire Gala live, and some people said, hey, I'd watch that, so here we are. Now, I did not get a chance to go to the LCS to pick it up, but special shout out, I should start by saying, special shout out to Sean, the owner of Fat Moose Comics in Whippany, New Jersey, not Winnipeg, Whippany. My LCS, I've talked about them so many times. We visited there together on the show. And yeah, I gave him a call and I'm like, hey, if I pay for my comic now, can you just rip off the little digital code and send it to me? And he was cool enough to oblige. So that's how we're doing it. Let's see. We'll give everybody just a couple more minutes. Now, David, I know that you said you had read the gala already. Neil, how about you? Have you read the Hellfire Gala yet? It looks like we have some other people joining us as well, but nobody said hello yet. Oh, Sean, yeah, no, he's hilarious. He does like to prattle. Did you see the one about he without trying made a child cry in his store? I think it was just about 2 weeks ago. But yeah, Sean's funny. We've been talking a while about doing a collaboration, and I think I have a good idea. Good question. From what I have read, CGC said it'll affect it at most like a fraction of a point. But at the same time, and this is the first time I've actually ripped off or instructed somebody in this case to rip off one of those labels, I figured, look, this is not a book I would necessarily go to get slabbed. This is the cover A. This is a highly printed book. Although it sounds like it's going to be a fun event, it's not something I could foresee jumping in value. I mean, you've read it, I haven't. I don't know if there's any new characters or whatnot. I'm coming into this, and I know Neil said that you haven't read it yet, but there are spoilers because I'm going to read the whole thing and react, and I'm going to show off pages and everything. But I'm kind of coming into this thinking that this is going to be kind of the equivalent of Infinity War for the Krakoan X-Men. We know that this is the start of the fall of X. We know that Orcus has been plotting for a very long time, and we know that Krakoa is starting to show a lot of cracks so far. First with Sabretooth escaping, then with the Sins of Sinister, and you have the most of the Quiet Council now exiled or in self-exile. So it'll definitely be interesting. So tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get started, and I'm going to do my own little conjecture in between here. And maybe we might give something away too. I haven't decided yet. So I'm reading on my iPad, and Yeah, again, just the normal Phil Noto artwork. Actually, doesn't come up too bad on the camera here. I don't have screen share. You guys know this by now. Right off the bat, I'm thinking that we see the major players here. Sinister, or no, that's actually Dr. Stasis. You could tell because he's got the clubs on his forehead rather than the diamonds. Iceman, Xavier, Nimrod. This looks like there's a Krakoan gate in the background. Jean Grey, Juggernaut, Cyclops, Kitty Pryde. What's the hell's his name? Can't think of the guy's name. This dude. He's one of my favorite characters too. I'm glad he's getting some love in the Krakoan Age. Emma Frost, and some people think that's Jean Grey as well. That's Hope Summers. So my guess, if they're focusing on these, my guess is that you're going to see more than a few of these people die. I know Kitty survives. That's no spoiler. We've all seen that in the previews for a couple months now. I do think Hope and in the 5, the mutants responsible for regenerating, for bringing the X-Men back to life after they pass. I think that she's definitely a goner. Sinister something, yeah. And Stasis, I think, is, of course, the linchpin in this scheme. So let's jump into it. Oh, this is like a page down thing. Okay. Yeah. So this is the first time. This is the first time I actually, again, used one of the codes, and they've kind of formatted it so you're not going page by page. You're scrolling down. Okay. So Fall of X. I'm wondering. We all think of X like X-Men, but in the Krakoan Age, they've used X as 10. So that might mean something else, I guess. And it even starts by saying X weeks ago. So I'm guessing 10 weeks ago. And you see Emma and Scott talking. I'm going to read the text, then I'll show you the picture. Emma, I understand your reluctance, but she should know the truth about herself. Of course, but Emma, her life is complicated. She still lives with her family. She has a secret identity. That's so cute. Perhaps I should invite her to the next Hellfire Gala. Let me think about it. One way or another, we'll find a way to let Ms. Marvel know that she is. And we know Ms. Marvel died recently. She's been brought back. And, that Marvel spoiled on their own. I hate when they do that. But that's a whole other thing. And here's Emma and Scott. And it looks like they're at the treehouse in Central Park. So scrolling down, and this is a nicely done page. I guess this is when they broke the news to Kamala Khan. She's a mutant. And it says now. So you see Xavier with the 5, Hope, Egg, Elixir. I don't know the girl with the brown and white hair. I can't think of her name. And Proteus standing over Kamala Khan, who has just been resurrected. That's right, Ms. Marvel, welcome. You have a home on Krakoa. Okay, save Hope. Okay, and you're going to know why I'm Hope. And to be clear, you're an Inhuman and a mutant. Interesting. We didn't even think that was possible. Hi, I'm Egg. Nice to meet you. Glad you're not dead anymore. Kind of funny. You're at the Arbor Magna on Krakoa, and your resurrection was rushed to the top of our list. You've got some friends in high places. Yeah, so the half Inhuman, half mutant thing kind of intrigues me. If you read a few years ago Inhumans versus X-Men, or X-Men versus Inhumans, however you want to say it, that whole plot was the Terrigen Mist was if a mutant smelled it, a mutant would die. But thinking back, because around that time, that's when we saw, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Marvel basically come to fruition. That's how she got her powers. She's an Inhuman. So if she's an Inhuman and a mutant, why didn't it harm her? But it's comics. So wait, it didn't come out of the egg, right? A little, oh, here we go. A little bit of brevity. Hello again, Ms. Marvel. And it's Cyclops. And I thought this was interesting. I've noticed this in a couple of the more recent issues of the X-Men. Cyclops has gone back to his 90s Jim Lee uniform. I understand you and the White Queen know each other already from some business with the Infinity Stones. That I don't remember. Delighted, darling. I don't know what Emma's wearing. That doesn't look like one of her Hellfire gowns. Okay, and this is just kind of a far shot, so I'll read it again. So weird. I've never get used to seeing you as the old dude. No offense. Our times as the champions was a long time ago for me. The X-Men seem to always get timed up in time travel shenanigans. My son is an old man. I hate when they write Cyclops to sound like an old man. And Ms. Marvel, what are you screwing with me? It's not a great panel. I won't even show it. She's out of the egg. Cyclops is hugging her. Young Cyclops during the Bendis run was on the Champions with Ms. Marvel. That's what they're referring to. And Ms. Marvel's talking to Emma. Is he kidding? Emma, let's not bog down. You're coming out as a mutant with all the sordid details of the Summers family tree. Well, I'm not coming out as a mutant, okay? Kamala, mutant technology is why you're alive right now. To disappoint me. Landed on deep. I do hope you'll reconsider between now and the party. Meet Jumbo Carnation, Jumbo. Meet Ms. Marvel. Jumbo, if you don't know, Neil especially, I don't know how caught up you are with the X-Men. He, in the past couple of years, has designed all the outfits for the Hellfire Gala. I don't know if he has any other practical use, and he has 4 arms. He'll both replace your uniform and give you something fabulous to wear at the gala. And Jumbo is sizing her up, kind of like something out of a Disney movie. Hey, Paul, how are you? I'm sorry. I'm not ungrateful. I just realized, how did this happen? How did I die? And Cyclops is now explaining this to Ms. Marvel. Xavier backs up mutant minds as often as possible. You won't have any memory of your actual death, and I'm glad for that. Spider-Man knows more if you want to ask, but I suggest going slow. I've been standing where you are. It's not easy. And I guess, let me just see something. If I shift my iPad now, David, you'd have to tell us how this looks in physical form. So like right now, it looks like a split panel. So half the panel, you see Cyclops with Jumbo and Ms. Marvel's reflection in the visor. And then, close the app. Okay. Then on the other half, you just see Ms. Marvel. This is again in his visor. It doesn't really come up well on the app. Oh God, how long have? Oh God, my parents. How long have I been? Don't worry, we'll call upon your family later, and we'll rewrite their last few days. My mutant gift is actually to bring mercy. That's Emma Frost, with again a smug, devilish-looking smile. Maybe Emma is in on it. I don't think so, but we shall read on. The 5 brought you back, and now it's up to me. You will dazzle the room. And it's just kind of, I'll show you the panel. It's okay. Oh, Chop and Drop is here. How are you? And okay, so you have Emma and Jumbo walking away, leaving Cyclops and Kamala behind. There's a gate by them. See you at the party. I've got something special for you, Ms. Marvel. Back soon. That's Jumbo. Cyclops is talking to her. Kamala, have you ever walked from New York to the moon or Araco? No, I never have. Don't worry, you can take it as slow as you want. But being a mutant is pretty damn great. Wait, my embiggening is my inhuman side. This is Kamala. Do I have a mutant power? Good question. Okay, so we're now officially at the entrance page. If you think my pace is too slow, let me know. Okay, welcome to the Hellfire Gala. The Hellfire Gala, Krakoa's premier mutant event of the year, in which mutants and humans from across the globe gather on Mykon's Island to see who is elected onto the new X-Men team, a night of celebration and often revelation. During the first Hellfire Gala, mutants used the event to announce the recent creation of Araco, a sister mutant civilization on the recently terraformed Mars. At the second Hellfire Gala, the celebrations were contested by human protests at the recently revealed mutant resurrection process, scared by the new technology and angry that the humans had been left in the dark about it. Recently, the anti-mutant organization Orcus has been quietly fanning the flames of those fears through careful media smear campaigns and propaganda. While in the background, their agents have launched both violent and covert operations to weaken Krakoa and the X-Men. Each time it is held, the Hellfire Gala heralds a new age of mutant innovation in history. This year will be no different. Okay, so a good recap of the gala itself from prior years. Let's go ahead and see what's going on here. By the way, I don't know how. I brought this up during last week's Hellfire Gala fashion show. I don't know at what point Kingpin arrived on Krakoa. I'm guessing it was during Devil's Reign or shortly after. I have to catch up on that. But if you know, let me know. The untimely death of Ms. Marvel ended the debate over whether to tell Kamala that Cerebro identified her as a mutant. Emma Frost's desire that she announce herself as a proud mutant was a political move. Disturbing revelations, both true and false, had sunk mutant-human relations to an all-time low. Still, there was a reason for hope if you knew where to look. And you're showing, I don't remember what the name of this is. I know X Factor built it. It's kind of their base of operations, and there is a Sentinel head there. And at the bottom, you have two people kissing. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, Jumbo and some other guy. I don't know. Months of work finally done. Jumbo Carnation could finally relax. He and the Mykeens Lighthouse, he was a lighthouse keeper, were certainly doing their best part to foster interspecies relations. Okay. Something for people to get pissed at, I suppose. Welcome once more to Mykonos Island, protectorate of the nation of Krakoa. And this is looks like the Stepford Cuckoos. I'll show you them in a moment talking. Those are the twins that Emma has have fostered, the quintuplets, I should say. There's only 4 of them right now, though. And another Hellfire Gala. We are the 5-in-1, and we are your hostess this season. The theme of this year's party is friendship and futurism, a dialogue. And here is the image from that. And you can see already in the background, some of the X-Men you'd expect to see, as well as some of the Avengers. Rogue is in the background, Captain Marvel, Firestar is there, Scarlet Witch, and Vision. Okay, and then they're floating, I guess, above the actual crowd itself, which looks up to mostly X-Men, but I do see some Avengers in here too. It's a smaller picture. We welcome our friends, ambassadors, and honored guests whose lives have been made better by our Krakoan medicines. We hope their stories of health and happiness can dispel the disinformation that is spread about Krakoa by our enemies. So then the 5 are talking. Oh, there are 5 of them again. Okay. Maybe I forgot something about that. The Krakoan age of mutantdom began with the gift of fruit from mutant technology, the drugs of the mind and body grown from the seeds of our living island, living island home, have been life-changing medicine for millions of our human friends. Tonight we will elect another team of X-Men, but we also wish to discuss a deeper partnership with humanity and the steps we're making to correct where we've stumbled. We surprised you at our first gala with the terraforming of a dead world. And tonight, Forge, the X-Men's Technopath, will unveil our latest gifts. They will help solve the housing shortages and food insecurity that plague the most in need. And I scrolled down. I guess it looks better in the book as well. You've got Cyclops, which looks very dark. Jean Grey and Emma Frost. Jean and Emma are competing to whose boobs can pop out more, apparently. I know my wife is watching and enjoyed that joke. Honey, I didn't draw it. I didn't know that they were going to do that, but there you go. Please take some time this evening to meet Forge and marvel at his living model of Mankind's City of Tomorrow. It is another gift from your mutant friends. If you haven't been up on the X-Men books, particularly X-Force, Forge has been a very big part of that book. If you're a Forge fan, this is probably the best time to be a Forge fan, I guess I should say. Please relax and enjoy a drink. We'll commence the X-Men vote in just a few minutes. And then Cyclops, it's kind of after the speech is over. Cyclops is talking to Jean. The alarm just went off at the tree house. And Jean says they want to go together. and Cyclops changing back into his 90s uniform. I've got it. If I'm not back before the vote, give everyone our news. And she says, of course. What news do they have? No losers in that. Yeah. And so I guess Cyclops' costume is an actual costume. It looks like it's kind of just like peeling off psychically. It's got a nice effect. Not bad. Okay, and now Juggernaut's popped up behind Jean Grey and her boobs. I wanted to thank all the X-Men personally for everything you've done for everybody. Just so you get an idea of what I'm saying there. I'm kind of surprised because she's typically not a character that puts herself on display, we should say. But I guess it's the gala. Jean, that's saying to Juggernaut. That's very kind of you, Juggernaut. The scene is her looking at him above his shoulder, from behind his shoulder. I didn't know good comics. I didn't read it yet. That's the whole thing. So please, no spoilers if you have. But I trust that you won't. That's very kind of you. You've been on a path of redemption for a long time. I don't know who will serve, but the team will be changing. They need a powerhouse. Yeah, and they have done a lot of good stuff with Juggernaut. I'm glad to see, he's just not Juggernaut smash, pretty much. A spot on the roster would be well deserved if you would pursue it, Kane. And when I mean Juggernaut smash, it's not a Hulk thing. If you've played the Marvel fighting games in the past, the Marvel versus Capcom games, you know what I'm talking about. Kate Pryde was always annoyed that she couldn't use the mutant transit system. She leaned against the gates as though they were walls. I thought they fixed that. No worries. I appreciate you, sir. And it's not a bad drawing of Kitty Pryde. If you watched the Hellfire Gala special from last week, my sister was a guest. She's in the fashion industry, and she hated Kate's look. But I think that she would, if she saw this picture, I think it would be a little bit different. I'll have to send a picture and follow up with her. Which always annoyed her fellow mutants. You aren't listening to me. There is you see now, Mystique and Destiny are coming through one of the Krakoan gates, the one that Kitty happened to be leaning on. So they're coming up right behind her. Destiny is saying to Mystique, you aren't listening to me. And Mystique is running out. I disagree. I've been listening too much. I think if you know that your wife, in this case, is a psychic, you probably want to listen. And then Mystique shoots her a look back. I only just followed you away from here because I didn't want to make a scene tonight, but I'm warming up to the notion. So something's happening. I hadn't seen Mystique's costume. We didn't review that last week, nor did I see Destiny's, but yeah, it's a boob parade. Okay, and see another shot of Iceman. I don't know who's behind them. Doesn't look like Forge, but it kind of does. And Kitty, and you can see Firestar in the background. I'll show it to you in a minute. Talking trouble in paradise for the old gals. They'll figure out a way to kill you in seconds if they hear you. I'm sure, Kate, you remember Romeo. Oh, yeah, so Iceman a while back came out as gay. I haven't read Iceman's series or whatnot, so I guess Romeo's his boyfriend. Pleased to see you again. And you see, I guess, Xavier talking to Ms. Marvel. I don't need to be a telepath to see that you're uncomfortable, Ms. Marvel. I feel guilty, Mr. Xavier. You saved my life, and I know you and Miss Frost want me to tell the world I'm a mutant, but your life is quite complex already. Yes, if my parents knew that I was here, they would freak out. Xavier's taking off his helmet and talking to her. Kamala, I need to clarify one thing for you. We didn't save you. We were able to use our resources in concert to resurrect you. Imagine how much your parents would freak out at never getting to hug their daughter again. Okay, a little sugary, why don't we say. The reason we hope that you would announce your mixed heritage is not just that we would be proud to have you among us, but also that it might help change the minds of those who fear us. You have a process. You have a lot to process. We hope you will join. We hope you will join us, but not tonight. Be with your friends and family. Be good to yourself. Join us in your own time. And please call me Charles. And she says, thank you. So they're just kind of overlooking the party. The art's not a huge standout so far. Kamala reaches over using her embiggening skills. And what's kind of notable, I'll show this to you, is that she's wearing a bangle that looks more closely like what we saw in the Disney Plus series rather than what we've seen traditionally in the comic. Wait, sir, Charles, can you tell me what my mutant power is? Unfortunately, I cannot. We have no idea what your gift is. Your encounter with the Terrigen Mist made you inhuman before your mutant powers manifested. I guess that's how she survived that, and that's what I was talking about, that bracelet there. Hey, Chris, how are you? You're having a little story time. You're lucky that Cerebro correctly identified you as all. The mist has always had a negative effect on mutant physiology. Rogue is one of our most powerful mutants, but she's extremely vulnerable to the mist and was nearly killed by it. There's no telling what would happen if your X gene had expressed itself and you became inhuman later. We posit that your mutant gift never emerged after being suppressed by your inhuman one. That's a weird sentence. We posit that your mutant gift never emerged after being suppressed by your inhuman one. We can help you with that unlock. We can help you with that. Okay, hold on. We can help you with that. Unlock your mutant potential. But we believe in boldly and bodily autonomy on Krakoa. They like their words. Okay. You must have agency in that decision. It's another matter for you to consider. Now, if you'll excuse me, there's a diplomat from the United Nations who asked for a few minutes of my time. Enjoy the party. Okay, so next you have one of the newer mutants who crossed over from Sins of Sinister. I believe her name is Chimera, either Chimera or Rasputin. And she's in her Krakoan garb. She's a mix of magic, Cyclops, and David, help me out if you know. The Great X removed Cerebro and gazed upon you with his clear blue eyes. So I guess she kind of looks at Xavier as a messiah, which is kind of interesting. You must be a mutant of tremendous importance. And Kamala, of course, looks like how Kamala always is. Rasputin 4, thank you. I hope not, and don't think so. I am Rasputin 4, there you go. I have come from a future with gifts of the 5, but not the 5. Hi, I'm Ms. Marvel, the first. I know your stories well. An inhuman, a Muslim, a mutant, a human, a savior of all the tribes. So go easy. I'm kind of a secret mutant. And Rasputin's responding, amazing. In the breeding pits, we used to say, may you be in the resurrection protocols before you meet your heroes. But you make a mockery of those mornings. So she's a little starstruck. And Ms. Marvel's, wait, I'm a hero? Well, yeah. And now, let me see here. I'm not sure who this is walking. It kind of almost looks like a Valkyrie. Let's see. Okay, I don't know who you two are, but I'm sure but I sure know your kind. I could smell it on you, magic. And there's a shadowy figure, 2 shadowy figures up front. That sound right to you, Dimitri? Never touch the stuff. Barely believe in it. Well, then you must just be. Then you must just be talking to me. I'm Wynn. So is that Jason Wynn, like as in Jason Weingarten? Hey, Jimmy. Hello to Woof Woof as well. It kind of looks like a younger version of him. I'm not quite sure who Dimitri may be. I read a good part of the X comics, but not all of them. How do you get in here when this party's invite only and you were not on the list? Oh, I come and I go as I like. You know what I'm talking about. I can smell it on you. I guess that's magic he's talking to. Couldn't really see too well. Before she was kind of like in the background here. Mind if you ask a question? Make it quick. This is when talking to magic. There's a story going around these days about, excuse me, there's a story going around about the beginning days of this great mutant experiment. That one of you stood at the top of the world and told a gathering of humans that things they were a changin'. I heard that he said, get this, he wanted, no, needed them to understand that mankind has new gods now. I got to know, is that a true story? And I guess it's Magic replying, damn right it was. Woof. Now that's bold talk. No denying it. No, there isn't. And now it's time for you to leave. But before you go, I'm curious. Why do you care? Professional courtesy. We work for the old ones. I used to talk about the old gods. Oh, here you go. So now you see Kingpin, and he's got a really weird outfit with what's her name? Daredevil villain. Is it Crazy Mary? Something Mary? Yeah, she's got the half makeup. Okay. Let's see what it says. I owe it. They're not even talking. So now you have Sam, Captain America, Typhoid Mary. There you go. I got the Mary right. It's long. I'm very tired, David. And I'm thinking he's talking to Cinch, not Cinch, Prodigy, and one of the Dora Machine. I owe it to you to be. I owe it to you to be honest. Some of my best friends are mutants, but y'all make it hard to love this crazy commune when Kingpin gets to check onto Fantasy Island. And Prodigy's talking back to him. My turn to be honest, Sam. If we voted anonymously and telepathically, I doubt he'd even crack the top 100 heels on Krakoa. Dora Machine talking to the both of them. You're looking at this all backward. Consider the benefits of stranding old, rich crime guys on a remote island surrounded by heroes. At least they're not running around stealing everything that's not nailed down. We don't even know. Excuse me. We don't even have money. Plus, we know where they are. Sam replying, good points all around. Excuse me, this is Captain America. Go ahead. He had his hand up here. Hey, Kenneth. So I guess he's communicating with something in his ear. And understood the Avengers are inbound. So you see Captain America, Captain Marvel, Scarlet Witch, Thor, Vision, and Black Panther exiting. Interesting. This is Carol Danvers. The Avengers are responding to the DC incident. We're all leaving the Hellfire Gala now. Duty calls. And this is seen as an Uncanny Avengers Free Comic Book Day issue. I just read that digitally. It doesn't hit me what they are referring to though. And you see Rogue watching the Avengers exit the Krakoan gate. Avengers emergency frequency on. And her little card tells her there's an unknown subject attacking the Capitol. Emma and Rogue are talking. Our guests are nervous, and the rumors of a civil war on Raqqa are beginning to spread. Why are the Avengers suddenly leaving? I'm not sure, but... And then, again, Rogue's card goes off. Captain America's Steve Rogers has activated his distress beacon and is unresponsive. Emma's saying that must happen a lot. Rogue is flying off now, getting into her 90s looking gear. Not even one sugar. This is Rogue. I'm inbound to Rogers. And I'm sorry I said sugar. That's kind of... So, yeah, that's kind of interesting, too, that the two X-Men who have left the island reverted back to their 90s uniforms, which haven't even been prevalent in a while, if I'm being honest. Okay, so now we see... I don't know who this character is. I couldn't find Shaw anywhere. I just teleported in from Krakoa. He's not on the island. Thanks for looking, Lourdes. I think is that the Black Queen that was just elected to the Quiet Council? That snake is up to something, and he's not alone, as the Avengers he'll have a busy night. Then there's a mental message. It looks like it's from Jean Grey. Everyone, please, the moment is at hand. And she's, let me command your attention. This is a nicely done panel. I like this one. Okay, everybody's looking up and smiling at her. When I left the Quiet Council and began this new team of X-Men with Cyclops, our goal was to be an example for anyone who wanted to serve, to use their gifts for good. Nice picture of Jubilee with a brand new haircut. There we go. And to get ready the next generation of heroes for the challenges of a world that, despite it all, still hates and fears us. But it was our great pleasure to discover that we were the students. Cinch and Talon are ready to lead a new team of X-Men, so Scott and I are stepping back. We trust them implicitly. They have a lot of trust for them. If you don't know, the Talon and Cinch that they're talking about are older versions of Talon and Cinch. They went into the vault as of the Children of the Vault, which speeds up time and experience. They were stranded there. I thought, everybody thought they were dead, but they came back, and they're older and wiser. To continue to save lives every day and be an inspiration for all of us, for us all. And they're taking the vote. So you see the 5. The vote has kind of been overshadowed. I really forgot about this until look, they had the us submit ballots months ago. So you have the 5. Now we nominate and vote. A chorus of names rises up, and quickly a consensus coalesces around a group of names. Cinch and Talon are the bedrock upon which the team forms. They say Juggernaut is unstoppable, and with Jean's endorsement, it was true at the 3rd Hellfire Gala of the Krakoan era. Jean said, "I'll be a hell of an X-Man." And then, so I guess Juggernaut won the vote. I don't know if that was the only seat. I thought there were more. So you see Jean. Fresh blood. Here they are. Oh, here we go. She's showing the all-new team of X-Men. And your new X-Men team: Talon, Cinch, Prodigy, Cannonball, Frenzy, Dazzler, Jubilee, and Juggernaut. Here, I'll show you. Overall, it is an interesting team. Prodigy, I'm happy to see there. Actually, Prodigy and Cinch working together, I think, would be a great kind of powerhouse team. I'm glad to see them together. Cannonball, I personally have never cared for. I think it's kind of a dumb power, in my opinion, of course. And Dazzler's elected, so Gary B will be very happy. It does look like a interesting team, yeah. Look up. What good luck, a falling star. Oh, that sounds ominous. These candidates had the makings of an astonishing X-Men team. Unfortunately, fate had other plans. Oh, wow. Nimrod drops in. It looks like I'm trying to see everybody here. I'll show this in a second. It looks like Dazzler. I think that's Cannonball. Prodigy and Frenzy are just dead. Just a big explosive thing. Explains Nimrod avoided detection by orbiting the Earth and descending from the thermosphere at terminal velocity. Everyone at the gala would have been killed. I'll show you the picture first before continuing. So that's pretty shocking. And Juggernaut looks like he's okay. I mean, he is unstoppable, but he looks freaked out. I can't zoom in, but I'll. The only other time I can remember seeing Juggernaut scared was in the early days of Onslaught, I think, when they first made mention. But yeah, Dazzler and Frenzy especially. Prodigy, wow, you see actually like down to the spine. Well, there's Dazzler there. Frenzy. And there's Prodigy in the back. I think Jubilee's okay. She's off to the side. You do see her glasses flying in the air. Yeah, that was a shocker. Okay, right off the bat. Everyone at the gala would have been killed were it not for Jean Grey blunting the shockwave with her telekinesis. Good on you, Jean. And then you see a big badadoom. Juggernaut is flying off. It looks like they're out of this thing with Jean Grey, so he's intact. So he's okay for now. Jubilee's got a bloody nose. Hopefully she's okay. I don't think so. She's saying curse, like, when they want to say fuck, but they put little icons, you machine. Oh, no, she's definitely dead. Yeah, Nimrod just squashed her. I'll say I would have thought that their first target would have been the 5. Oh, and here we go. I think this is Psylocke. Magic, teleport all the humans out and the 5. And you see some laser shooting, and some more people are getting killed here. I think that's Madrox. Multiple Man is just split in half. You see dust in the background. Somebody else is hurt in the background. I can't tell who it is, though. You do see a limb just flying. And Magic, I guess, is teleporting people, but she's saying, be sure to save some for me. So I know Magic is going to be one of the ones who survive. I hadn't seen Psylocke's Hellfire Gala dress outside of this. This was actually a promotional image that was shooting around. I think it was actually even in the trailer they had. Orcus has been planning this for years. So you see Bishop and Magic. They look okay. They're trying to get people out. All right, guess. Party is over. I'm going to get you all home. They used every tool at their disposal, controlling the message about Krakoa's dangers in the media and depowering Magic, by poisoning her with nanotechnology that inhibited her X gene. And sure enough, oh no, my powers, they're not working. I can't teleport. That's not good either. There would be no easy escape from this ambush. And Romeo, Iceman's boyfriend, we went over that, is flying up to Nimrod. Stay near Alanya, Romeo, and Nimrod. If you're programmed to kill mutants. So Iceman has made 2 big ice maces, and he looks like he's doing an ice kick to Nimrod's chest. So he says, if you were programmed to kill mutants, then you were programmed to die. A nice line. Here you go. He's crushing the Nimrod skull with his ice mace. I don't know if that's doing any long-term damage. And okay, Iceman. Oh, this is interesting. I've never seen him use his powers like this before. This might be the most interesting moment I've seen. I terraformed an entire planet, and he's, I guess, extending his fingers, which looks kind of gross, into a little like crevices of Nimrod and trying to crush him. That's definitely interesting. What are you compared to that? Oh, okay. Nimrod's okay, because he said, funny you should mention that. I'm going to liberate this planet one mutant at a time. He has some sort of like a heated blade that's popping out of his hand. Now, Iceman does have a series that's going on from here. So, and he says, starting with the X-Men, and he stabs Iceman in it, but Iceman looks like he's icing up. So I think Iceman is going to be okay. And Nimrod does look like he has a scar, at least. The robot with a scar. Gotta get to bed. Enjoy the rest of the book. Thanks, David. Thanks for checking in. Stay cool out there. Orcus planned and drilled. They executed the false flag attack in D.C. and the assassination attempt on Captain America. They were dividing and conquering. Success would only be measured in corpses. First, they need to take out the Omega-level mutants. I have to hand it to you. This is Nimrod talking to Iceman. I didn't think anybody could ring my bell like that. If that was, and Iceman is still okay. He's like, look, if that was your best shot, then you're in for a lot of trouble. Very badass moment. But something is going wrong. These little heat things, I guess, are expanding inside of his body, which does not look good. He's saying he can't see Gene's. Oh, man. But he's got a book coming out. So is he just melting temporarily? That's a haunting picture. Hands off to the artist. I didn't look who was drawing, but that's wow. And as he's melting away, this is heartbreaking. He's reaching out to Romeo. I'm sorry. And he looks like he's dead. And okay, Nimrod, I guess he's talking to somebody else. Omega 2 is dead. Now where's Omega 1? And Jean and Juggernaut are flying. I'm right here, Murder. I'm wondering if that terrible robot brain of yours will have an answer for what can stop the Juggernaut. And kind of like we saw in the Sins of Sinister, she's shooting Juggernaut telepathically like a big bullet. Once again, Jean caught a sonic boom and directed it into the Sentinel. And Juggernaut, all right, you damn dirty machine. I'm going to enjoy taking you to the woodshed. What happens in the woodshed? Jean Grey began coordinating the defense, but she didn't have long. The rest of Orcus's forces were inbound. Previously, just a single Stark Sentinel had nearly succeeded in killing the X-Men. Now they face them all. This is a familiar image for some old school X-Men fans like myself. Cinch with Polaris. Got a force shield up. This is Cinch. Got a force shield up, but they're hitting me hard, Jean. Can you reach Storm? Okay. And now we have Dr. Stasis dancing in with let me see. Oh, this is the Sentinel. I thought it was the mother whatever face is. We planned for you planning this. Now, it is the Sentinel. Allow me to introduce you to Kamira Shapandar. And she's saying, this is Dr. Stasis. There's the man I'm looking for. He's looking at Xavier. I'll show you that here. They're doing a little dance. And Stasis is leaning back. Well, you look surprised, Charles. If you'd been paying attention, you would have gotten our RSVPs for tonight. You're going to pay, you wretched madman. I want you to see what I've accomplished. Look into my mind. And you see, it looks like Stasis in some sort of factory. While your attention was, let's say, divided during your previous Hellfire Gala, I was working very hard. In your pharmaceutical factories, it wasn't hard. I just flipped a few switches, and ever since then, you've been peddling medicine with the backdoor kill switch. Xavier saying, oh my God. What have you done? No, you don't get it. What have you done? Allow me to introduce Dr. MODOK. Just MODOK, please. And Stasis is saying Dr. Sam's cooler. MODOK, if you didn't know, is part of Orcus. Mm-hmm. Pay attention. This is MODOK. Pay attention, Xavier. Witness what we can do to the humans on your so-called medicines. Hits a button and all the humans are in pain. And it looks like they're actually attacking each other. There's a bunch of lasers hitting these buildings. Emma, I can't stop them. He's causing a chemical reaction in their limbic cortex. Kingpin is looking for Typhoid Mary. Where are you? Orcus hadn't just hacked the Krakoan medicines, but they also their transit system by coercing its secrets from the horticulture. That's the older women. And you see AIM soldiers popping out of the Krakoan gates. Every second, the news tightened around Mutantum. But they were all putting up a hell of a fight. And you see there's some lasers that are bouncing off of Bling, so she's okay for now. And then Kitty Pryde sees Strong Guy. Been a while, Strong Guy. I need a ride to the closest Sentinel. You bet, Kate. And he does an old school fastball special, throwing her into one of the Sentinels and phasing through it. If you didn't know, when she runs through any kind of computers or machinery, it phases them out. Kate Pryde has always been able to disrupt technology. That's why it's so ironic that she could never use the Krakoan gates. She had finally found a technology that disrupted her. and the Sentinel's destroyed. Oh, Typhoid Mary finds Kingpin. Wilson, I'm scared. This is insane. Mary. And, the Chimera, the Sentinel humanoid, gives Kingpin a big punch right in the face. It's almost like a bitch slap. Kingpin, you'll pay for this. Why is he dressed as Caesar? I mean, I know it's the gala, but probably not a good look. For a moment, it looked like the mutants who had managed to turn the tide. Exodus, that was the purple guy from before, was destroying targets with his mind. The five were the cornerstones of the successes of the Krakoan Age, and they were a formidable team in their own right. So you see the five are trying to fight a Sentinel. Probably not a good thing. With nothing but a thought, Proteus transmuted metal to glass. It's kind of a cool image. Orcus would have lost that night if the fight had been fair. Rasputin 4 was an entire team of X-Men in one body. She'd been sent back with powers of several mutants. The one that mattered most at this moment was Kate Pryde's. And Rasputin 4 is reaching out to Ms. Marvel. Hold your breath. Let it swim through you. When I let go, hold this thing steady. Okay, so I see. So, and it's just while I go to kill it. So Ms. Marvel it's kind of awkward, I guess, to read digitally. She's holding the Sentinel in place. Rasputin is about to go in for the kill. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. She nails it. And, I guess their ground is shaking. Kamala says, is that an earthquake? Of sorts, we need to finish here and go help Juggernaut. So I guess it's Juggernaut. And Juggernaut is going to steam right into Nimrod. You picked the wrong party to crash, buddy. I already apologized for that. Nimrod doesn't have great dialogue, in my opinion. And Nimrod shoots this giant laser. I don't know if Juggernaut survived that. Let me see. The tower that changed not one but two worlds had survived the strike from above, and the fire from within, but it couldn't survive the strike from the unstoppable Juggernaut. So it looks like, hey, Matt, he fired this beam. It pushed Juggernaut through the tower, and the tower is destroyed and falling. Jean Grey, stop. You could hear a pin drop as Jean spoke quietly in their minds. I guess she's speaking to the guests. I have you. I have all of you. No one else is going to die tonight. Let me apologize to our guests. I'm sorry. This has been such a horrid night. Everyone in Orcus, listen to me very carefully. So she's talking to everybody. Tonight you trespassed against us and chose violence. Let all those thoughts go, and you will survive to see the dawn. I'm going to gently place our friends down, and then I'm going to change your minds. And that was about as pleasant a threat as you could expect from Jean Grey, and she meant it. In another moment, there wasn't going to be any flesh and blood who hated mutants. The details of the next move of Orcus' attack were kept secret, even from Dr. Stasis. And he's saying, it's now or never, friend. It takes a lot of careful planning to kill a telepath. The assassin had to be ready to strike on Mike Hines, or in New York if Jean had answered the alarm at the treehouse. Moira X, Moira's back, had everything she needed, patience, time, and an artificial mind that was immune to telepathy. Jean is calling out, Scott, telepathic, I need to be back at the party now. And Moira is sneaking up behind Jean, and Moira kills Jean, which is a shocker because Jean has her own series coming out too. So Iceman and Jean both have their own Full of X series coming out, but they're dead. So what's going on here? Okay, so we see the Krakoan tree. Jean, I'm so sorry. The treehouse. It was a trap. It's the treehouse. It's Cyclops. I'm not going to be able to join you. My legs, I can't feel them. Jean, why can't I feel you, Jean? Cyclops is knocked on the ground. I got to go back, I guess, and look at that Free Comic Book Day story. So Moira's yelling now. Look at me, Charles. Look what I've done and see what happened to the one you love the most. Jean is still alive. What was on the dagger? Moira, a little something we found in a place called Otherworld. I believe you call it Blight's Will. Blight's Will. Oh, thank you, Matt. Blight's Will is this. If you read the Bishop War College series, that was the stuff that Fenris was trying to inject into the ground in Krakoa that could basically neutralize mutant powers. I didn't have enough of it concentrated for you yet, but I will. The sight of Jean struck down detonated a bomb in the children of the atom. Every mutant launched themselves in a war in a righteous frenzy. Victory would be theirs. And you see all the mutants going into it. How could it not? The enemy was not strong enough to stop all of them. Stop them. Here we go. So, hey, Brad. Kitty's got a knife, that same knife to Charles's throat. This is interesting. Stop them, Charles. Do it now, or we will fill the air waves around the world with MODOK's sweet music. That's, I guess, the medicine. And all those humans you helped die like squealing piggies. Somebody says stop. It's Xavier. He's taking off Cerebro. Oof, touching panel. God forgive me. I surrender. And he is leaning down. The remaining X-Men do not look happy. Moira and Stasis are standing over Xavier. Deliver the terms, Doctor. We hacked more than just your medicines. We also hacked your gates. Right now, they all point off Earth. We will kill no more humans if you all leave. Nightcrawler just went on an assassination spree. A mutant clone caused an inferno in New York again, and your drugs were poison. This is a cancer surgery, Charles, and you are the cancer. I could never get all the mutants to agree to simply walk off Earth forever. Moira, you just made them stop. Now make them walk, or every drop of blood that spills will be on your head. Stasis. Now let's discuss consequences. The first time a returned mutant is found on Earth, we will kill a human. The second time the cost will be 10 humans, then 100. I suppose you're smart enough to know about the powers of 10. Oh, turn that 10 on him. Please don't make me do this. Firestar, wake up. Jean, is that you? Their mental conversation. Jean and Firestar are now talking. Yes, Angelica, but I'm dying and they've won. Angelica, but Stasis, Firestar, but Stasis is lying about it all. Jean, yes, lies are powerful. We'll need the truth to burn it all away. I can embedded you inside Orcus. I opened a door into Stasis's mind. I was going to erase it. I ought to for what he did to Cyclops, but I have to be bigger. We have to be bigger. I could make him think he recruited you. Firestar is shocked. Recruited me to what, Orcus? Jean, yes, I'm in his mind. As hard as we've been working to save the world, they've been working just as hard to destroy ours. They've poisoned our medicines. Everyone ingesting them is their hostage. They will blame us, and the world will believe their lies. They took credit for killing the Celestial. That was back in Judgment Day. And Krakoa meant well, but also made mistakes. I can't force you on this mission. You must volunteer. Firestar says, I'll do it. What's our story? Let's say you sent an overture to meet right after you were elected. And she says no before. So they're going back, I guess, before last year's. Some of the mutants joked I was a narc. Let's lean into it. My election to the X-Men becomes their good luck. So they've implanted this memory. She's in the process of doing this to Stasis. And Stasis, so nice to receive. This is, I guess, takes place right before last year's gala. You see Firestar at a coffee shop across from Stasis, looking a little Johnny Deppish there. So nice to receive your message, Firestar. I hope we could be great friends. And then it's present day. Firestar and Jean are talking telepathically. If I need to, who do I throw under the bus? Beast. Tell them the truth You can make bad stuff about him. Everyone will believe you. Beast is kind of a villain right now if you haven't been reading the X-Force of the Wolverine books. Okay, now back to Xavier. Damn you for this. And then Moira, if hell's a real place, I'll see you there, Charles. And Xavier says, go, my X-Men. Mutants of Earth, this is Charles Xavier. You must not resist. You must comply. Walk through the closest gate. And you see Nightcrawler is in New York, standing above one of the gates while people are walking out saying, resist. Be not afraid. All will be made clear, but know that in doing this, you are saving many human lives and perhaps that of your own. Across the world, mutants were ordered by Charles Xavier to walk toward the nearest Krakoan gateway. Some, like Nightcrawler, had been trained to resist such telepathic coercion and were employing Xavier's own Red Triangle defense strategy. On Krakoa's archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean, something unexpected was happening. A user of the arcane magic was playing her own game with her own rules. Bon voyage, loves. That's, I can't think of her name. Mother something. She's also from Sins of Sinister. If you read the most recent, I think it was in X-Men Red, she's actually Sinister's resurrected wife, I guess, in another timeline. Nathaniel Essex copied himself, Mr. Sinister, Dr. Stasis, and a spacefaring version of himself called Orbis Stellaris. He did so because he sought to dominate all life, and perhaps it was the love of a sick heart. But he also copied the visage of his wife, Rebecca Essex. And they're telling you that, what I just told you too. Mother Righteous, there you go. It's kind of a weird name. Her name was Mother Righteous, and her seat of power lay on the astral plane. So, yeah, she just goes to the astral plane. I don't understand that. Oh, she's still here. Not a soul alive knew that she's stolen away and trapped Krakoa's Atlantic Island in her lantern, or why. So is she in on it? I'm kind of lost there. Krakoa is the Pacific Archipelago. How much do we love mankind? I don't know who's talking right now. London, it's telepathically. Is it enough to stay away for a time? Yes, as long as necessary to protect them from evil. Oh, they're in London. He wasn't saying London, excuse me. I can feel so many of you resisting, but please trust me now. This is Xavier still. This is the right thing to do. They're shooting over to Madripoor. You see more people walking into the gates. If we love them enough, we'll give them the distance they need right now. And my kinds. You see Kitty and Emma both saying resist. Okay. Oh, I see. So when you see resist, if you notice, number one, the font's in red. Number two, it's in the shape of a triangle. This is Xavier's red triangle method. They explain it here. One of the things I have to say I like about the Krakoan X-Men is that they do have these little interludes. And some of the writers, not all of them, but some of them actually use them quite effectively. And this is, I guess, a case like that too. The X-Men are the lone superpowered in the area of telepathy. Charles Xavier alone is powerful enough to be heard around the world simultaneously, albeit with a modest amplification by Cerebro. Xavier began working on a telepathic defense largely in response to the emergence of telepath Emma Frost. Telepathic accounts can be something small in a scope like an insidious, suggestive thought implant, i.e. you will forget to do something routine, such as set an alarm or on a specific day. But a telepath can also deploy what is known as a brute force attack, i.e. being commanded to attack another person or behave in a manner that is not conducive to the health and safety of the victim or the people around the victim. A lot more text than I planned on reading, I'll be honest with you. I'm going to kind of skip ahead on it. Screw it. I said I was going to read it. I'll read it. Such attacks always require more telepathic energy to execute. The protocols were devised after the X-Men's first encounter versus the White Queen at the Hellfire Club. When dealing with aspects of the mind, it's important to consider that the mind is comprised of the conscious and unconscious and the subconscious. Those are the three aspects represented in the three sides of the triangle. Okay, that's cool. The triangle had a second dimension in it, that it also represents the three functions of a mind: thinking, feeling, and wanting, all areas of exploitation vulnerable to telepathic modification. A skilled telepath can leverage their power in any aspect of a mind, and the victim may not be consciously aware of the intrusion. The red triangle is therefore both an alarm that an attack is occurring and a defense against the attack. The color red was selected because of its association with danger and the shape of the defense utilizing the strongest geometric shape. Xavier was adamant his students become proficient in the defense in case he himself should ever been compromised. I guess that's kind of like his Batman, Justice League protocol. It was only through the Red Triangle's protocol that all of mutantdom survived the second mutant massacre. Even now, when mutants meet, they often part with a single word: resist. Get a little bit of water here. I think I'm almost through this. Okay, it looks like Firestar and Jean are still talking telepathically. Not everyone is leaving Jean, and Jean replies, those who train to resist telepathic assault are harder to sway. They don't know why Charles is sending us away, and they're using his own red triangle defense against him. We are mutant. We only know the fight. Resist. Some more people going to the gate. Put me down. I don't want to go. Charles will start to use the others to force all of us through the gates. I want to stay. Damn you, Charles. Curse you, bald piece of any. Whoever was yelling is through the gate. Firestar. Find out about the poison on Moira's blade. Forge is walking up, but he's also saying resist. Their plans, their strength and weakness. Get all of the information you can to the resistance, to whatever remains on Earth. Every mutant is an X-Men now. Firestar. Jean, please, please, I can't do this alone. How will I contact the survivors? Angelica, it will be okay. This is what you trained for. This is the price we pay. I wanted to bring in the others, but I'm out of time. Make no mistake, the survivors will find you. Mutants have always been hated and feared. Now mutants will hate and fear you. When they come for you, tell them the truth and never waver. Goodbye, Firestar. Be brave. And Jean is now a skeleton with hair. Very poignant imagery. And she's talking to Scott, who's telepathically, and she's saying goodbye to Scott while he's in a ambulance. And in telepathically, she's saying to him, I loved you, which is rough. And he's saying, Jean, please don't go. I need you. I love you. Elsewhere. Okay, so you have Wolverine in his black and orange getup saying resist. Somebody's reaching out to him. I think it's Jean. Logan, hear me, wake up. And he's trying to talk back to her. Logan, oh no. I'm sorry, Jeannie. Oh no, what have they done? And he pops out his claws. And I don't know if this is Orcus soldiers or AIM around him saying, man, this guy ain't going anywhere. Jean's talking to him still. We've almost lost it all tonight, but the fight's not over. And these soldiers, again, are looking at Wolverine. I guess they don't know who he is, saying, okay, we'll do it the hard way. Let's dissect him. Everybody just focus on your assigned body part. And she says, I loved you too, and I need you to do what you do best for me. It's nice. And it says, as Jean's life faded away, the Berserker awoke. Logan was surrounded by the best special forces in Orcus's rank. They never had a chance. Okay, very cool silhouetted panel. It kind of reminds me of Frank Miller-esque in the first Wolverine limited series. And Destiny is now walking out into one of the gates. This was our only chance. I'm sorry. Raven, listen to Charles. So much death and destruction, and it all accumulates with a giant X in the heavens, with the fall of the Krakoans. Exodus is pushing the five through the gate. Exodus was a powerful psychic, but also a zealot. Charles explained the danger to the Sainted Five, especially when they clearly wished to fight on. They had to be saved. One does not always need psychic powers to make someone do what you wish. Where they are headed, even Charles did not know. And Mystique is now talking. Charles, how dare you try to command me? He's telling her to leave. He's using his telepathic powers to push her, and it's making her bleed, actually. But she instead, it looks like, jumps off of a cliff, and Stasis is laughing at her. Oh my, the changeling looked like she had a stroke before she washed upon the rocks. And now the sea has claimed her. At least something wants that wretch. Oof. Modoc, Za, the Atlantic Ocean has disappeared off the satellites. Send the Sentinels to set up a perimeter around the Pacific Ocean. And you do see the remaining X-Men who are saying resist here. I could see Cinch, Ms. Marvel. How did she know resist? She just was there 5 minutes ago. Psylocke, Rasputin 4, Angel, Romeo. Well, I guess Romeo's a mutant. Talon, Emma Frost, Kitty Pryde, Fang. That's Logan's son. That's his name now. And Stasis is looking. Am I crazy? Are you still some of you? Or am I crazy? Or are there still some very disgusting genes around here? And Moira, nice costume change. Way to get into the spirit of the evening. Moira, I told you I was in the mood for a party. The reason these mutants aren't moving is because Xavier trained them how to defend against telepathic attacks and coercion. I hope there's enough left on this blade for them all. Emma, everyone wake up. Grab hands, Lourdes. It's now or never. And Lourdes, again, I don't really know who she is. I've never tried to teleport this many people before. Link hands. Kate, grabbing Emma's hand, hold fast. Kind of a nice call back to the Marauders. And they're holding hands. Moira is trying to throw her knife. Stop the teleporter. These mutants cannot escape. And she throws the knife, and it hits. I don't know who that is. I think it just hit a regular guy. Hey, Daredevil. And Moira's jumping on top of Xavier. She's got his hand on his helmet. She looks like she's going to break his neck. I've got Xavier. Open fire. Kill her now. They're trying to get her to kill Lourdes. The soldier's like, I got her. And Kingpin, believe it or not, saves the day and cracks that soldier. Crushes him like a soda can. The soldier still fires. I don't know if he actually hit anybody. It's hard to tell. Oh, crap. Okay. Then the next thing you know, you see the remaining X-Men. It looks like they're in a basement. It says, Lourdes teleported a small group of mutants and her old nemesis, Wilson Fisk, farther than she'd ever teleported. She returned to a place she never wanted to step foot in again, the basement of New York City's old Hellfire Club. Emma's talking. You may remove your hands now, Wilson. Fisk, where has my wife gone? Emma, I don't know yet. Kitty to Emma, we have to get back to help and go back. We have to get help and go back for Charles and the others. Lourdes, this was a one-way trip, I'm afraid. And it looks like that hit did nail Lourdes. And slowly after, she dies. Emma's saying, Lourdes, you saved us. You should have stayed away from me in Krakoa. You had a life. You gotten all out of all this madness. And Lourdes says, no, it was a good dream worth fighting for. And she dies. Okay, back on Krakoa, Modoc is holding, it looks like some kind of a syringe into one of the red things on the Krakoan gates. This has been the most fun evening I've had in years. I'm just slamming the gift from our horticulture friends into the Krakoan transit system. Nimrod, I didn't enjoy beating his brains in, but maybe I did just a little. Oh, he's holding Juggernaut up. What's Firestar still doing alive? Do I have to do everything? And Stasis is saying, you're too hasty, friend. Firestar's been feeding us information about Krakoa since before she was an X-Man. Now we're going public. She's joining Orcus full-time. And you can see Nimrod is dragging Juggernaut, which makes me think maybe Juggernaut is still alive. Why not just leave him? I don't know. And Firestar turns and Xavier's on the ground. He's kind of crawling. He says, "What about him?" And Stasis looks at Moira, who's got this devilish grin. His fate was sealed the moment Moira joined our ranks. And Moira's got her knife out. She says, "He's mine." They shoot back to the surviving X-Men. Emma, there are several tunnels that lead into and out of the old Hellfire Club. I planted gateways here leading around the world, including one to Mykine's. The Blob is smaller than I had imagined him. That's not the Blob. Oh, I see. That was, I think, Rasputin talking to Miss Marvel, the other. She's asking about Kingpin. Jumbo's quite fond of the Lighthouse Keeper. Well, I guess I'm not making this trip. Oh, okay. So Kitty's telling them, I guess I'm not making this trip. I'll make my way to the treehouse and grab the Thunderbird. She can't go through the gates, if you recall. Okay, Cinch. Hang on. Before we go rushing headlong back to war, what about the humans on the medicines? Talon, they're hostages, and we just got our asses handed to us. Emma, I don't need to get very close to give everyone left on that island a lethal stroke. You fabulous X-Men can handle the machines. After I kill them, I'll use my diamond mutation and pitch it on the robots. See you on the island. Leave none. Oh, she goes to go through the gate, and she can't go through it. It's like it's a glass barrier. And Kitty is saying, see, that's how that looked. Because when Kitty tried to do it, she broke her nose if you read the first volume of Marauders. The art looks like it's changed a little bit right now, too. It's a little bit more cartoony than I care for. But we'll continue. And they're all trying to touch the gates now. They're saying every gate is closed. We can't get back to Mykine's now. Okay, now back on the Mykine's, there's somebody talking. Excuse me, I'd like to get off Mykine's now. I'm the ambassador of Ireland to the United Nations, and will not tolerate being held against our will for a second longer. And I finally got a signal on my mobile, and the top news story is no human survivors of the Hellfire Gala. I've got a family who won't be shuffed at that headline. I got to leave and correct that mistake. Stasis saying, no human survivors. Tisk, can you believe this? Our public relations department sent out that press release too early. Stasis, whoopsie, this is awkward. Kill the humans. And Xavier, no, I did what you asked for. Please, I'm begging you. And the Orca shock troops, okay, it says the Orca shock troopers had side blockers in their helmets. So Charles was powerless to stop them. Instead, he was slipped into the minds of their victims, holding each soul as they passed from the life. They never felt a moment of pain. And the next thing Charles felt was Moira's dagger under his chin. So, yeah, basically, you can't trust Stasis. Moira, I won't lie, Charles. I've been dreaming about this. Everything that's happened, it's your fault. Tonight will be known forever as the Mutant Massacre. You sold lace medicines. You invited Nathaniel Essex onto the island. And he almost ended all life on Earth. X-Men Green are Echo Terrace. I could go on, but we have a busy day. Your dream is dead, and humanity will cheer for us as we capture and kill a lot of you. Take solace that you won't live to see it. I'm ready. That's right, be brave. Okay, so something good's going to happen. She's getting ready to stab him, and Xavier's saying, I wasn't talking to you. Yeah, okay. So something positive here. Rogue is back. I don't know how she got back. And she tore Moira in half. Moira is still operating. Let's just stop her. And Rogue takes Xavier, says, Firestar, be seeing you, traitor. Sleep with the lights on. Rogue hugged the surface of the ocean and flew in an unpredictable pattern. She knew the machines were in pursuit. She'd flown across the Atlantic before Charles mustered a word. Thank you, Rogue. Hold on. They're deploying Sentinels after us. I'm taking you to Steve Rogers. He's reforming the Unity Squad. We have friends. And Xavier's, my God, no. No, take me to the island. That's suicide, Charles. Please, you don't understand. They're all gone, Rogue. Who's gone? Our mutant family. Everyone who walked through the gates. They were meant to go on Araco. I can't reach them. Any of them. They're all gone. All of them. They're all dead. Charles, there were 250,000 mutants on Krakoa. They can't all be gone. But they are. I made everyone walk through these gates at the party and across the planet. Stasis told me how to do it, but I didn't know. I didn't know they did something to the gates. I pushed them into a meat grinder. They're all dead. All dead, and I killed them. Now leave me and go avenge them. Avenge Krakoa. I'll show you that image. That's a good one there. Charles trembled in the waves and wept, for all he'd built was now in ruins. He anguished for the children he helped murder that night. All good things must end, and the fall of the House of X has begun. Pacific Archipelago of Krakoa, population 1. Okay, I guess there's an epilogue here. Okay, I guess this is before. You have Emma talking to Kingpin. Yeah, this is, you can see Kitty Pryde's leaning against the gate. Kingpin, you have good reason not to trust me, but, and Emma, I trust Orcus even less. Yes, I agree. You've made your point. We can't stay here. This is the one of the first places that the fascists will come looking for us. Oh, they went back. They got back there, I guess. Okay. Kate, we'll take it from here. At least you'll all get used to not being able to use the. Oh, and she gets sucked into the gates. And everybody's shocked that she got sucked to the gates. Okay, it's a little strange here. So now it shoots at Krakoa's embassy in Jerusalem. Kitty is through the gate and she's surrounded by Orca soldiers. What the hell is this? And Kitty, you fellas aren't going to behave, are you? So they left it at a cliffhanger. So they're going through. There was an army of artists on this. So one of them I didn't care for, but I think overall it was pretty good. Apparently, I guess the thing with Win is God's interlude. I didn't realize that. So yeah, that was it. That was the 2023 Hellfire Gala. The body count was certainly higher than I thought it would be. I mean, I knew it's the fall of X, but yeah, I mean, I know from here the X-Men are going into different limited series. I'm not going to be getting the limited series. This really hasn't swayed me in that sense. I'm going to be still getting the regular going X-Men series. Wolverine if it's still going on, and X-Force if it's still going on. But wow, that was unexpected. So if you are still here, thank you very much. I want you, if you have a moment on IG, message me with hashtag I'm still standing. You have until, what time is it now? It's about 11 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to give you 1 hour, 12 p.m., midnight Eastern time. Again, message me on Instagram, hashtag I'm still here, I'm still standing, either one. And I will send you something. Maybe it'll be digital, maybe it'll be in print. Well, Bor, I have something digital to send you, so now I might wait to send you more digital stuff. But as a thank you for being on this is much longer than I usually go for. Yeah, and look, give me some feedback if you don't mind. Is this something that you like, these read-alongs? Maybe doing a big event wasn't the best way to do this. Maybe like a good regular issue might do this. Oh, I got yours. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, let me know how you like this. I've been talking a while. My throat's fighting it a little bit. I don't know if you can hear that. But I'm going to make an exit. Again, you have 1 hour, midnight. Message me on IG, hashtag I'm still here. And you're going to get something for your efforts. And if you're watching this on the replay, catch me live next time. I will see everybody back on Saturday morning. Until then, I'll leave you like I always do. Peace, love, and comics. Take care.